Okay. In my testing, a mixture of baking soda and peroxide cleaned the best.
Yes.
Would you recommend a person continuously use baking soda and peroxide as an alternative to overcome the counter toothpaste, like over-the-counter toothpaste?
So I think yes, it is an acceptable alternative, but what you're probably missing in the baking soda peroxide mixture is there's no fluoride, right? And so you'll still have the effective cleaning, right? Because the baking soda acts as the dentrifice, and the peroxide helps to kill bacteria and helps to oxidize some of the staining that's happening on the tooth surface. But there's no tooth strengthening ability in that mixture. So that's where it might fall a little short. For instance, there's been studies that have been done where in the dentist, when we have our rubber cup Profi cups that we use to clean your teeth, we have the little rubber toothbrush we use, and then we put some toothpaste on there. And as they go over the enamel surface, sometimes it can remove what's called a fluoride-rich layer, or a layer of fluoride that's protecting the teeth, but it also polishes and does the teeth. But if you do the cleaning without the fluoride treatment afterwards, then it kind of leaves your toothpaste more vulnerable than it was before the cleaning because it removed that fluoride-rich layer. So that's what you may be doing if you're only using baking soda or peroxide long term.
Like if you haven't used toothpaste for a long while, because that would just ruin the fluoride that you've been using for a long while.
Perhaps. You may not at home, but over time too, baking soda may be a little more abrasive as a compound than the dentrifices they use in most commercial toothpaste. And so over time you may create a little extra erosion depending on your brushing technique. That would be another precaution. But the traditional baking soda and peroxide mix has been used by generations of people and they swear by it, right? And that's okay. So yes, it is an acceptable alternative. However, you may be missing the remineralization component of the fluoride. I say remineralize because that's where the fluoride diffuses into the tooth structure and actually makes it stronger.
Okay. The second to last question is, what toothpaste do you use and what toothpaste do your children use? Why would that be? Like, why do you guys use that toothpaste?
Okay, so I use Original Crest. And my kids use Crest for Kids. The reason Crest, I like the way it tastes. And whitening toothpaste they have an additional abrasive component to it. So I don't prefer to use whitening toothpaste because I don't want to scrape more of my enamel away. I just want to have enough dentrifice to help me clean, right? And but also the Crest has the highest amount of fluoride you can get over the counter. So I just use Original Crest. The tartar controls and all that stuff's kind of a gimmick. And so that's why my kids use Kids Crest. And now, we're not loyal to Crest. Crest doesn't pay me. Okay? But it's just easy to find. It's commonly available. You can find it anywhere. And we like the flavors. Colgate's great. Aquafresh is awesome. I used to like Aquafresh as a kid. That's what I used to use as a kid, was Aquafresh. And I have very low cavity rates, by the way. So, that's why we choose those. I chose the toothpaste. My kids they say the Original Crest is too hot for them. So that's why they use the Kids bubblegum flavored toothpaste. But essentially it's the same amount of fluoride and the same type of dentrifice in both of those toothpastes.
So the last question would be, my grandma said she had never had a cavity in a day in her life until she started using toothpaste. What do you think would cause this?
Probably time. So cavities is a process where you have to have the right bacteria, the right amount of sugar, and then obviously you have the host, right? And then time. So it creates a Venn. Have you ever heard of a Venn diagram?
Yeah. Here.
That'll work, right? Yep. So we have time. We have, I gotta draw it right or it won't work, huh? We have the host, right? Then we have bacteria. And then we have, that's right, sugar. So you have to have all four of these components come together to create a cavity. And if you, so over time, she probably had the same bacteria in her mouth over time, right? She was the same host, right?
Yeah.
She probably had a fairly similar diet, right? But the difference was the time involved. So the longer you have your teeth, the more likely you are to have cavities in them. So it could be coincidental, not causative, right? It could be a correlative event that she had a cavity after she started using toothpaste because perhaps she was old enough
Like
to finally get a cavity.
she would use water, and then after water, she started using the baking soda peroxide mixture, and then she started using toothpaste.
Right. So the other thing though that toothpaste doesn't have that she was using is the peroxide. Okay, so peroxides are not commonly found in toothpaste, and peroxides are antibacterial. And so while she wasn't getting the fluoride strengthening component, she may not have needed it because the peroxide was helping to manage some of the bacteria in her mouth. And so the peroxide may have been very beneficial. But those are two explanations I have for why that may have happened.
Thank you.
But I think the most likely one really is probably it was a correlative event, not a causative event. It was probably this time factor that came together to actually cause the cavity.
Okay, do you mind if I keep?
You might want to draw better. But yeah, perfect. All right, is that
Thank
it?
you very much.
Well, that was one of the best interviews I've had.
There you go.